Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage right now your winner of the 2019 Fight Boys Prediction Series. It's Blake Tanner by 9.5 fucking points.
I did it, Mom. I finally did it. I toppled him. I toppled the Dylan. It was me. It was me. It wasn't you, Scottye. Fuck you.
By the way, I want you to know, Blake, there will forever be an asterisk next to this. The word corona, we're going to put the word corona by it. Yeah, we're not going to put virus, just corona, and you're going to know. No, we're just going to put Rona. We're not even going to...
The Rona.
The Rona.
But for now, Blake, would you like to announce who we are donating all of this almost $100 of fat cash to?
So, because this whole thing has an asterisk next to it, I think
I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, so am I.
The reason you won by 9.5 points is I didn't have the other two shows to go with, so I had to make stupid predictions.
I found something called the Century Foundation, and they take donations towards and give money towards those on unemployment. So.
Blake, you could have just asked Dylan for the money. You didn't have to. You could just give it to me.
So really, I'm just saying, Dylan, just keep the money.
Welcome to Fight Boys. It's a show about professional and not so professional wrestling. I am your host, the Spielberg of cinematic wrestling, Scottye Moore.
I'm the winner, Blake Tanner.
I'm once again disappointed after WrestleMania.
Dylan's like, I'm the one getting the money. It's like dodgeball. Dylan just dodgeballed himself. Because I may have lost. But the cash is coming back, baby.
Wait a minute. How many WrestleManias have you been disappointed in, Dylan?
All of them after 30?
I genuinely thought Dylan was about to do, fucking Yakko Warner and just, do a listing of all of the disappointing moments to songs.
Here's the thing. For real. It was, 31 was where it started, because 31 was where you had the Zack Ryder Intercontinental. No, 31 was where you had,
that was the end of 31, I believe, was the Seth cash-in, which is where they were like, no one's gonna be happy with either of these results, so let's just throw Seth at them.
But 30, but that was also the one where Sting lost to Triple H.
But Rusev did have a tank.
Yeah, Rusev lost his undefeated streak to John Cena.
After he came out on a tank.
Zack Ryder got his Intercontinental. That was 30. No, that was the next year. Sorry, that was...
Yeah, that was Dallas, and it was entirely because a picture went viral of him with Scott Hall with the title, and they were like, let's give him the title! And then the very next day, taken the fuck away.
Yeah, that was where it all started to go downhill, was at 31. At the Sting match, that was where it happened. It briefly got better.
Yeah.
Because there was the cash-in. But then every Mania since then, just... down and down and down, and then we got to this year, and
I'll argue I got a good case for this being the best Mania since 30. I really do.
I want to give some support before we hear that, because I do remember, since from WrestleMania 30 onward, I started getting progressively more and more drunk with each concurrent WrestleMania, successive WrestleMania. So, with every WrestleMania, I started drinking more, which means it was worse.
So here's the thing, Scottye. I know what you're about to say about this being a good WrestleMania. I also want you to know that I would really hope, with pre-shots and editing and reshoots, that they could put together something that wasn't complete dog shit.
Yeah, but it's still, like, you can't argue the point against it, though, because you're still saying it's a good show. It was a good show is what it was. Because...
It wasn't wrestling.
No, other than Edge and Orton, which we'll get into that shit, Firefly Funhouse, and then Boneyard match. Everything was just fucking wrestling. The only spot...
Yeah, and none of it was that. We're gonna get into it. Remember, there was basically every championship match.
Yeah. Well, the only spot that really, I think, argued you needed multiple takes of was, or not multiple takes, but like, you know, some secret shit going on behind the scenes, was KO jumping off the top of the Mania sign. Other than that, there wasn't really anything that seemed pre-taped, outside of maybe John Morrison fucking rope walking and then hitting a Spanish fly. Other than that, it all just seemed like watching wrestling.
It still wasn't that good.
It was okay compared to what we've had in the past. It was good because
no. That bar is literally buried 2 feet underground. You can shut the fuck up with compared to what we normally have.
But I'm still saying it's fucking good comparatively. That's what I'm saying, and it was a good fucking show. Ladder match.
No, the only good parts of it weren't wrestling. They were television.
The KO Seth match, fucking phenomenal. And
there's one good match at every Mania.
Other than that one spot, Dylan, look, we can't just keep saying that you think it was a shitty show. Otherwise, this is gonna be a review that's useless. We just have to talk about the fucking show.
I'm arguing. No, I literally just said that the only things that work. My argument is that the only things that work, with the exception of one match, which I am also saying every Mania has one good match.
Okay, hold on. Rhea Charlotte was fucking good because it was...
Yeah, and then they cut Rhea's legs off by having Charlotte once again be a champion.
I'm fine with that because A, they couldn't use Rhea because Rhea's fucking having to go back to Australia. So
yeah, she's still here.
Yeah, but she's gonna have to go back, and she wasn't available for the tapings, meaning you have to give it to Charlotte. And how do you do that? Making Charlotte prove her dominance and let Rhea do what she does best, and that sell like a fucking champion. She made Charlotte look like a sociopath in that match.
I understand extenuating circumstances, but here's also the thing. You could have had her just win and then have to drop it for complications. Remember when Asuka had to just drop the title? You remember that? How they didn't just punk her out to somebody?
You mean like how they punked her out to Charlotte at WrestleMania? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a pattern here. See, so all you've really proven is that Rhea and NXT cannot hang with their main brand.
They proved that at Survivor Series.
They proved that they could do it in a 6-on-1 numbers game advantage. This proves one-on-one, like the Future versus the Queen. No, can't do it. Fucking like can't pull it off. Rhea, after doing all these things, multiple matches, there was that fucking sweet War Games match. Like, there was the Survivor Series, and then one-on-one, Charlotte wins. Charlotte always wins. Charlotte is like female John Cena.
Exactly. And if say you have John Cena.
That's not a good thing. No, you can't say.
No, say you had John Cena go against Velveteen fucking Dream. John Cena needs to win that match because he's seasoned and he's proven. And throughout it, it's showing growth in Velveteen Dream's character that he has to try to build up. If you keep having all these NXT people be dominant, there's no use in the main roster. And it's already improved NXT because guess what? They beat AEW in the rankings this week. Like 100%. Charlotte winning is what needed to happen because A, when Rhea comes back, she's gonna go straight for whoever has that title, and she showed that she could be like go through hell itself because Charlotte put her through hell in that match. Like, yes, FMA in chat said they didn't like that Rhea tapped out. Rhea had to tap out or her leg would be broken right now. That was the point of that match.
I'm pretty sure people would have preferred like an Austin like Brett finish over that.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Because, like, here's the weird thing about Rhea, though, is the fact that Rhea looks like she should dominate. Rhea looks like a dominating person, but she sells so good that it takes her from being a Stone Cold Steve Austin ass kicker to almost a Shawn Michaels badass, just badass in appearance, but outside of that, she's just kind of like, just good at selling. Shawn Michaels is a legend in this business, but it's not because he won a lot. It's just because he, A, stuck around long enough, and B, was a badass at doing good matches. But it didn't mean you have to win every matches. And she did come out like Vegeta. So...
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Shaq, how's it going? Yeah. No, I'm not. They're not letting me talk on this one, so I just wanted to see how you were doing. Yeah, man. That's great. It's good. Oh, hold on. I think they stopped. Yeah, alright. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
So Ghazi brings up in chat the fact that, someone passing out in a figure four is kind of ridiculous. It is outside of pain. Although, to be fair, the sharpshooter is pretty much...
If they knew, since they had a good idea that they knew that her work visa was going to expire...
Which, by the way, how does WWE let someone's work visa expire? So, one of their champions' work visa expired. You're a billionaire. You can't bribe someone to just like give her another 6 months until this corona shit. You can't do anything. It's the laziest fucking... That's another reason why I don't like this match. Is because, like, yeah, sure, she was sticking around, it was building a storyline. It's the fact that it is literally 100% due to the fact that she's not available for stupid reasons. Not even valid reasons.
That's why I'm saying, like, if you... that's when you should have, like, a competitor, like, gimmick a serious injury to end the match. She should have had her fucking leg broken, because she would have taken it like a fucking monster, and she would have hobbled the fuck back under her own weight, and it would have looked cool as hell. I can't speak on... because I didn't watch it live, if I thought WrestleMania was good or not. I just do know that this is the first WrestleMania in a long time that I've had almost no motivation to care about.
Well, see, here's the thing, and this might be the first time in a long time I've agreed with the musings of old Uncle Alan, Uncle AJ Styles, but he was talking about Mania, and he goes, what we want to do is make people feel like a kid again for WrestleMania. And yeah, 100%, that is how I felt watching Mania, is... Yes, were there rough matches? Yeah, but I didn't go into it expecting any of it to be good. So I would be looking down at my phone, and then I'd look up during like Rollins and Kevin and be like, oh fuck, this is good. Because the beauty of the Rollins-Kevin match for me was surprisingly Seth. I even tweeted out, like, this match got me back on my Seth Rollins bullshit. Because the best way, and this is a bad comparison because I've never fucking seen Game of Thrones, but it was like a brutal fight scene from like a Game of Thrones versus a wrestling match. Because you had Seth with like a steel chair screaming down at Kevin like, this is what you wanted, Kevin! Is this what you want? And it was uncomfortable to watch, but in a very good way. And
it was really cool when Kevin did stick his fingers into Seth's eyes and then just make his head pop like a grape.
So yeah, whenever you guys finish that talk, I distilled what I didn't like about it. Like, I figured it out, so...
Okay, Dylan's back now after even more audio issues because no one wants us to record this I think Vince himself is like, no, they're insulting the Dangeria match where my precious girl went over. We can't have them play it.
It's like, listen, I just had to cancel the fucking football today. I can't go through all this again.
I'll let fucking IRS's kid turn me into a fucking puppet. I'm not about to deal with this bullshit.
So here's the thing, or two things. So like regarding that, so
wait,
Charlotte
wait.
now.
This is it. This is the last thing we're saying about Ripley and Charlotte.
Right. No. This is just Charlotte. So she's up to 12 reigns now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know how long on average each of her reigns is?
Like 5 days.
75.
Okay.
If you're rounding up.
Yeah.
So like. I think part of the reason why I don't like it is, like, yes, Charlotte is a really good performer. Like, Charlotte, like, absolutely deserves to be successful. Charlotte does not deserve to have 12 reigns. And, like, at a certain point, like, I know this one will help her overall average because, fuck, unless she's losing it to... Oh, no, she's gonna beat Io. She's gonna beat heel Io. That's also why I'm unhappy. I have more information. But, yeah, no, it feels like stat padding. Like, this woman... has so many, like,
Yeah, oh, well, I mean, we talked about it last week. Charlotte is now fully embracing the whole women's revolution concept of do everything, make everything firsts, do all the big firsts. First main roster person to hold an NXT title, first woman to cash it. Like, yeah, I understand. Charlotte's the fucking worst because she's trying to do all of the first for herself. I'm sure she would have ran in on that match in Saudi Arabia if she wouldn't have got shot. But like,
it reminds me of
it's a matter of like how much is it her, how much is it corporate pushing on her, how receptive. Like there's a lot of things you don't know. So I'm not going to say it's her fault, but I'm saying what they're putting forward cannot be seen as positive. Like if you like look at a bigger from like a fucking casual fan, I'm sure they're all just like, oh, she's champion again. She's champion a lot. She must be pretty special. And like that's great. But like,
well, apparently also the higher ups consider her a babyface. Even though she was a heel that entire fucking storyline. Even though she was full on heel, the higher ups are like, yeah, that's one of our top babyface performers, Charlotte. And we're like, no, she's not. She's not a
It also
babyface.
gets to a deeper, like, issue that I have is that they put so much emphasis on the number of title reigns that a person has, when to me that doesn't make much sense. When really, like, it's like Dylan mentioned, how long you have the title should really be your yardstick.
Well, not only that, you've got to think, like, I won the title 12 times. That means you've lost the title at least 11 times.
Yeah. And I understand, like, because it means that, that means she's been in the title picture for that long, too. Yeah. And I understand that a lot goes into each number reign. I just don't think that it should be the most important stat when it comes to you and a championship. And I can say that about a lot of different people who have had many different reigns.
It's how they build a star at the end of the day. When you look back at a person like Stone Cold or The Rock, if you judge them by like today's smart standards, no, we would have hated them as much as we hate Charlotte, as much as we hate everybody else, because
that's untrue, because they still like talkers.
Yeah.
And like people still like KO. Even at KO's worst, people still love KO. Like, people still love the people that talk and have characters. It's just it's hamstrung now. But if you gave people now the freedom that Stone Cold and The Rock had, they'd love them. Like the smart standard is
The only thing I think the Smarks would go after, especially The Rock, is like he had some of probably the best matches of their time.
Yeah.
But he is not a great, like, match guy consistently.
Same thing with Stone Cold. If you want to talk about, like, 5 moves of doom and shit.
Yeah, but he had great psychology.
He did have very good psychology, but at the end of the day, like, winning a title a lot and having those iconic moments, that's how they build somebody up. They don't know any other way to build somebody up, which absolutely sucks.
Yeah. They also had comparatively short careers to most of the people in WWE now.
Which is so buck wild. It's so insane.
Because, like, they were on the roster for what?
4 or 5? 4 or 5 years, maybe?
Like, The Rock stuck around a little bit and he became part-time, but then, he disappeared and it was less than 7. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
That is the smartest conversation we've ever had, and everyone listening right now is a little scared. They're like, what happened? What mystical berries did they take?
We had to get the frustration out.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan went away, he did some hot yoga to calm his brain, and then he came back and was like, okay, let's just break down why I don't like this, and then it led to a nice...
There is one, because we're going to talk about it, there is one other thing, and I promise this will be the last negative thing I say about this. So, for Mania, one of the main things is like, hey, you have the Mania crowd, and a big part of wrestling is the crowd. It's part of why I enjoy Japanese pro wrestling so much. It's like part of why I don't like going to shows in America. Like, a good crowd is paramount. WrestleMania is one of the best crowds. And we lost that. They lost it. We lost it being live. They took traded that in for taping. So, like, we didn't get anything back. There was an equivalent exchange. You know that episode of The Twilight Zone where the dude like survives the apocalypse and he breaks his glasses reading books? Yeah, it's not fair. I finally had time. They had time. If a match was bad, they literally could have come back the next day and redone the match.
Yeah.
From scratch. So everything we got at WrestleMania was them looking at it and be like, that's the best we can do. So while things have been good, really good, like the things that are bad to me are even worse. Because they could have done, it's not like if it's live and you're just like, well, fuck, there's nothing we can do. Like it's WrestleMania, it's happening. That's what No, motherfucker. This is like when you see a TV show and like a bad episode of a CW superhero show and you're like, how the fuck did it make it this far? That's exactly what that feels like to me when I see a disappointing moment of this WrestleMania.
Well, I'm with you, especially on the crowd, because I think that's one of the biggest things that went into like, I wasn't feeling it this year and just not watching it because it's so weird watching wrestling without a crowd on a consistent basis.
Yeah, well, like, you say, Dylan says there's no equivalent exchange. I'll say there's no equivalent, but there was an exchange because we lost a crowd. But the wrestlers who are good at trash talking, they were in a league of their own during like me and Blake were talking about the Rollins match. Yeah, the KO spot's what everyone's going to talk about. To me, what made that match was Seth. It was Seth because he has got such a demented mind for trash talk that he's going around delivering like uncomfortable lines. And then during the triple threat ladder match, Jey Uso I think it was Jimmy. Jimmy was just talking shit throughout the whole time, just being like, I'm about to flatten you like a pancake, motherfucker. Just walking around and kicking people's ass. It was so good. There was another good one. Oh yeah, it was Kofi during that same match, because we all know about the history of the New Day and the Usos, and we know now they're friends. They're even in kayfabe, but they are friends. And you could hear Kofi being like, I'm sorry, Us, but this is what I gotta do. Like, throughout the whole thing, calling him Us, being like, I'm sorry about this, Us. Bam, power bombs him. Like, it was so good because it revealed a little bit more to it. So the people who were
Are you sure that he didn't say, I'm sorry, I love Us?
But the people who are good at trash talk really thrived. Then there was the Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa and Nikki Cross. That did sound like Pornhub. It was very uncomfortable because, like, they're wanting trash talk. It was just like, ha! Like, all right.
At least there wasn't a lot of, that would have been worse. Make them say,
Everyone on Twitter at once was like, why is wrestling so much more sexual without a crowd? I'm like, because you get every grunt in there. You get all the uhs in there, baby.
They make me say,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I said, if you stack it up though, this one, I mean, I guess some of the other ones is just disappointing title matches, but there wasn't like a marquee title match. I guess in your case, Rhea and Charlotte, but there is not one. Like the ladder match, kind of, but it has a weird asterisk next to it because it was like a triple threat for tag titles and like
triple threat singles match for the tag titles.
Yeah, that was weird. So like that might be the one, but you know, ladder matches at WrestleMania, like there really hasn't been a bad one.
Yeah. Well, the bad thing is, like, I don't think I would have wanted more from Braun Strowman versus Goldberg, who, by the way, fuck Goldberg, because apparently the only reason he came into Mania with the title is because he's like, I'm a superhero, and I refuse to lose to the Fiend. And Vince, on the day of that Saudi Arabia show, said, fuck, I guess Goldberg's a superhero. We can't have him lose the title. And that is the only reason he came into Mania, because it was going to be Roman versus the Fiend for the title, which, that'd be cool. I'm fine with that. That's actually a pretty decent thing.
We wouldn't have seen it anyway, because Roman wouldn't have been at Mania, but yeah.
But, I mean, I'm happy we got the Firefly Funhouse match for reasons we will talk about later. But, like, yeah, I don't know if I would have wanted anything from that or from Drew versus Brock. I mean, maybe a big-ass Hoss match, a big, like, New Japan-style Hoss match between those two. But you know Brock wouldn't want to do that, especially if he's losing.
Yeah.
I guess he gave a lot in that match. The bits I've seen, like, he did his best to make Drew look like a fucking slayer.
Well, it wasn't a long match is the problem. Like, it was
Yeah,
not
I know. Well, the thing is that you know he can. You've seen his matches with Balor. You've seen his matches with AJ. You've seen his matches with Bryan. He can. He can have a long, like, fucking back and forth match. Like, for whatever. That was... Again, you had time. You had all the time in the world. You had all the time in the world. And this is what you gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that plays a point. And really thinking back on it, yeah, I guess it goes to show just like what... And I know there were extenuating circumstances with a bunch of wrestlers not being able to compete and whatnot, but like it was hard as hell to build a good card with the matches that you could have had. But which is why I think they went with two of the biggest matches. Honestly, I think what were the marquee matches more than any title match, which were, night one, the Boneyard match, and night two, that Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, talking about that shit later. But yeah, the only match I could say, because like, this is also another reason why I say it's one of the best we've had in a while, is because the other ones I went in expecting something big out of it. This time, I almost fell into Blake camp. I almost was like, I'm not going to watch WrestleMania. Screw it. I'll sit down. I don't have anything else to do tonight. I'll watch it. And the parts that I literally paid attention to were absolutely phenomenal. And they were the only match that I can say I was heavily disappointed in, and the majority of Twitter seemed to agree with me, was Edge and Randy Orton, which some people liked it because it did have a lot of cool, brutal spots. It also was so fucking long, and it gets into some problems that I've realized with cinematic wrestling, which is when Dylan says, like, it wasn't wrestling. Yeah, the best shit on WrestleMania wasn't wrestling, but the problem is Orton and Edge tried to do wrestling in that cinematic style, and that doesn't work, because then you just kind of realize the ridiculous things, like, why is there a cage on the top of this random fucking office in the WWE Performance Center? And it went on to, the length of that match, I will describe it as a stoned nap's length, and I won't say how I know how long a stoned nap's length is, but I will say I woke up right as the referee hit the 10 count.
Oh, so it was a Triple H match.
Yeah, oh yeah. Someone online was like, yeah, Triple H might have not been involved with Mania, but there was still a Triple H match. And it did really disappoint me, because, like, yeah, this is probably the best thing to do for Edge, because it relied less on taking, like, legit bumps, and instead they could, like, put mats underneath and stuff, but it was just so fucking long. And also, Edge got Benoit, and that was so uncomfortable for me at home, because they just hung him up in a fucking weight set, and Randy's like, this is cool, right? And everybody behind the scenes at WWE was like, this is not cool, but all it takes, one or two higher ups to be like, this is fine, this is okay, keep it going.
So you mean Vince?
Yeah, that's good shit.
It did not help that Dark Side of the Ring came out, like, right before.
Like 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, that was... that's rough.
Hold on, by the way, I haven't been watching it, but can we talk about how, like, lower the stakes have gotten on each episode of that? Because it's like, we're going to talk about the horrors of Chris Benoit. Then we're going to talk about New Jack. Now we're just going to talk about the Brawl for All. Do you guys want to know about the Brawl for All for an hour?
I mean, that's what happened with the first one. One of them was, like, literally the second one in was the fucking legacy of the Von Erichs. Like, the fuck you gonna go from there?
Exactly.
But I really can't wait until they get back to their roots and they do their Abdullah the Butcher special.
Abdullah the Butcher! And I will say, me and Dylan last week, we were basing all of our, I would say a majority of our predictions based on old WWE thinking. In other words, hey Blake, fuck you, Otis will not win because you don't deserve to be happy. We totally forgot about the Rona and the fact that WWE's like, we cannot not give people the happy ending to this story right now.
And I said he won!
In like the most wholesome moment of the entire... I was so happy. I've never been more happy about a fucking victory ever in WWE than Otis walking away carrying Mandy like, yeah!
You do the Otis face too well, and it kind of scares me. No.
It's okay. Ziggler won tonight, so...
Yeah, 50-50 booking is back, so we're getting back to normal.
Yeah, it's all good. So anyways, on to other news. AEW was apparently very good this week, and it made me very mad because I decided, well, this is basically NXT TakeOver. Let's watch this instead. And I had AEW, like, running in the side, and I would be watching, like, the women's ladder match for NXT, and I'd look over and I'd just see Britt Baker showered in blood, and I'm like, what the fuck am I missing right now? Because apparently that was good. I'm furious at Tommaso and old Johnny Gargano for multiple reasons, but one of the main ones being they made me miss Cody versus Shawn Spears, because I'd be watching that house fire of a match, and then I'd just be looking over every once in a while and be like, why is there a guardrail just randomly pulled out? Why is he getting powerbombed through a table? And, yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't just at a point just, like, click, turn NXT off, and then just say, you know what? I'm not gonna hurt myself tonight.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get into
DDT
that.
came to America with the Best Friends versus Nakaza Omega.
That was so fucking choice. And also, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but Jericho had some choice lines on commentary between... Apparently, during the Cody match, he was like, a lot of people online are asking why we still have guardrails even though we don't have fans. So you can hit people with them!
I think Jericho embodies who I would want to be as a commentator.
Yeah. So he was very good this week. And yeah, that basically DDT match was phenomenal. Because Kenny and Nakazawa were doing old DDT spots throughout the entire match. Like at one point, I can't remember what Kenny did. He did the bounce off the ropes, and it's not a Rough Rider, but that's the only thing my WWE brain...
You mean the Katara Crusher?
Which is the Kataro Crusher, but he does it to Nakazawa into Trent's dick. It was so good.
Yeah, I heard great things about that. My favorite being that Orange Cassidy did a dive directly in front of Aubrey Edwards. They're like, how are you guys not disqualified? And Chuck was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to distract her. I totally messed that up. Like just bold face, like, oh yeah, dude, totally screwed the pooch on that. That is that one's me.
That one's on me, y'all.
Oh god! And another reason that I love AEW, we talked about it before, but you just want to see a bunch of different types of wrestling.
Yeah.
You just watch AEW. It's just a fun buffet. It is wrestling buffet every week.
Oh, yeah. And Dylan did say before we started the show that he had an answer to this for me.
Sure.
Why is Jake Hager #1 contender? I get it. He's undefeated, but he's only had like 4 matches.
Because he's been a presence for longer. He actually has a pre-existing feud as an adjunct feud to the one with the Inner Circle with Jericho.
Yeah.
And he's also choked out the champion like 3 times.
Okay. Yeah, but because for me, this was... Yeah,
and he also beat the shit out of Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, because for me, this felt like the first time in AEW's history, other than maybe Jungle Boy, where they were just like, hey, you want to fight the fucking champion? Yeah, you're #1 contender now. That's cool. That's all right. You've not been defeated. Why not? We'll pop you up there.
Yeah, no, the Jungle Boy one at this point is the least believable one.
Well, I loved the way they did that. And apparently
I know they did it, but as far as like, really, this guy hasn't even won a match. But like, this one works as well because this one's like, oh, you beat Jericho. Okay, you beat like #1. This is #1A.
Yeah.
And like,
the Jungle Boy one was apparently Tony Khan's call because he was talking about someone a long time ago who would be coming out and being like, do you really think you could last 10 minutes with me? And Tony's like, why don't they do that anymore? And they said, fuck it, we'll do it. That's cool. And so I think they purposefully made sure Jungle Boy did not win a match. That way, when he came out, Jericho would be like, yeah, sure, I'll fight you. You're gonna fucking lose. And then once he did go the distance, it's this big, great pop. Makes Jungle Boy look like a victor, even though it was not a victory, it was just a tie, but still.
Yeah, I love the idea, too, and it just... bringing back things that just haven't been used, it can always be like murky waters, because sometimes there's a reason you haven't seen a fucking...
Oh God, a scaffold match. You haven't seen one of those.
Yeah, a scaffold match. Or like a handcuff match where you had to hit those 4 ring posts like John Cena and Rusev did that one time. It was real bad.
Fuck, that was real bad. Yeah.
No, they totally gave Jungle Boy the Kobashi treatment. Makes sense.
But I will say also, we may not be getting blood and guts anytime soon, but we may be getting the Elite Deletion. And hey, I'll take that any day over a fucking War Games match. Just send them all to do some buck wild. In case anyone's been surprised, one of my best things coming out this week was cinematic wrestling, and I'm ready for more cinematic wrestling if that keeps happening in these upcoming months.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I want to see the king of cinematic wrestling, the innovator, get back to what he is able to do just so good.
And I did really like after the Boneyard match, he went on Twitter and was like, I want to thank everybody for all of your thoughts and all of your comments that you sent to me. It's very innovative, and I very much enjoyed what they did. And I was like, oh, shit, he's humble, too. He's a humble boy.
And then Reby came out and said, these fuckers stole his idea!
Reby said, I'll peg Vince McMahon the first chance I get. Reby, what the fuck does that mean? I'll do it!
On a side note, so there's AEW, which had Jericho. Dark now just has like a rotating thing because they pre-taped everything, so it's like a weird like.
Oh, so it's like back to how it was.
Yeah, which is so like the first one was Tony Schiavone and Cody, and this week Cody 100% better. Like,
oh yeah,
I think they did that like after Dynamite, and they were like, oh dude, that was the drizzling shit. So they were like, yeah, we gotta step this up, and it was great. The next match was fucking Tony Schiavone and fucking Jimmy Havoc while Kip Sabian was wrestling. And like, please go watch that. The commentary is amazing. He's like, because like Jimmy's there being like, yeah, they're both hot. He's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, your friend. I was like, he's like, well, we're roommates. Like, we'd have to like each other. He's like, yeah, he's an attractive guy. Sometimes he walks around in just his underwear. Sometimes I don't mind. And then Tony Schiavone's like, I don't know how to take this. He doesn't know how to deal with it. Meanwhile, like, Jimmy's justifying everything that happens in the ring. It was so good. And then I think the last one was Taz and frickin' Excalibur, I think was the last one.
Yeah. That, I mean, I really do enjoy AEW's commentary because they're not afraid to pop each other. Because every once in a while, you'll just hear a lull on commentary, and then one of them just starts laughing real quietly, like, we can't do this. I will say NXT really upped their commentary game this week because they decided to just have Mauro Ranallo. They were like, hey, we're just going to send you all of this to California, and you do with it what you want, Mauro. And he was like, I'll do it, okay. And he did open NXT TakeOver with the phrase, hey, all you cool cats and kittens, welcome to a new week of NXT. And I'm like, Mauro, this is your biggest fucking show of the year. How dare you? I love you so much.
By the way, you were talking about how NXT overtook AEW. Yeah, by using literally using TakeOver. And they still only won by 1,000 people.
Literally just 1,000, which technically I might have been one of those 1,000. So if I had just turned it off at some point, oopsie poopsies.
Literally, it's like, I hit you with my best... It's like if you were to like nos out in like fucking Fast and the Furious, and then you just barely beat some dude on a Can-Am Spider. Like, it's more embarrassing than anything.
You just barely beat out a DDT match.
Yeah, I was like, this was not their best shot at all. Like, I feel like they knew that too. I feel like they did that on purpose. They're like, we might be losing. You want to use like the worst footage? Yeah, we'll use the not best, because they have all those matches. They're just like, what do we put
Let's
together
just put
here?
in Britt Baker bleeding to death. I did enjoy Britt's post-show interview, by the way, and unfortunately, if you're not watching the video, you won't get to fully enjoy this, but they walked up to her, and they were like, hey, Britt, how are you doing? You didn't seem to have a good time at that. And Britt, like, has a bloodied nose, and she just stares at them and just goes, ha, 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 yeah, and then just, like, cuts, like, Stone Cold, where he did that fake laugh and then shuts. That's what Britt did, and I was like, okay, I'm on the Britt train right now.
I still won't be, ever, but I understand why some people are now.
Yeah. But you know who I always understand who's on the Fight Boys train? Our patrons at patreon.com/loadofbs. That's the website where you can support us and get shouted out on the show of your choice every single week, like Eric Fulmer, like that motherfucker Ghazi, and you get access to exclusive content like our show FAQ, where we take a deep dive on some of our favorite moments in professional wrestling history. We've got shows on Kenny Omega, on CM Punk, Blake's got one coming up on Daniel Bryan, and if you're a fan of the JWF, fuck, there's some bad shit where me and Blake take a look at the old JWF that's absolutely garbage, and you need to check it out on patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. Dylan, who are we tweeting this week?
As an aside, did we change the name of it?
Oh, did I say FAQ? That's the other show. That's another show that's available that's about theme parks. If you want to learn about the Haunted Mansion, you got that. I'm sorry. Actually, I meant to say Wrestling History X. My bad, y'all.
Also, I do like this. I like how on the Patreon plug, you don't even wait for a response from us anymore. You've just given up.
Mm-hmm. Well, because now it's just evolved to like, hey, you guys know this? Fuck Ghazi. All right, let's move on.
He couldn't pay us enough money to not say that. Anyway,
the more he pays, the more he gets it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how he wants it. How he gets it.
We weirdly got followed, by the way, by Orange Crush Art, which is like, I don't know if Joey Janela is part of it or what, but it's like a new wrestling scene. So, I don't know, apparently we're big somehow. All right, who we tweeting?
I don't know. You want? She can't read it. Tweet at Io Shirai congratulating her on. She can. I'm fucking with you. But she's not going to. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, congratulate her on being fucking like Queen of the Skies at fucking NXT, whatever line Morrow used. She used to be the Genius of the Skies. Now she's Queen of the Skies. And I swear to God, if she loses clean to Charlotte, like, I'll just stop doing this show.
She's gonna do it, and now I'm gonna have to find a third co-host.
You are. Yeah, good fucking luck. Hey, on the bright side, you won't have to do pick'ems for the G1. So, like, you got that going for you.
Do you know how many, like, random wrestling shows we're gonna have to stand in line for to find another third commentator?
They're not just gonna walk up to you in Orlando when you just happen to be standing in line for Impact.
Also, I will say, my favorite new name for Io Shirai did come from Morrow this week, and it is the Joshi Judas. Yeah, FMA says it in the chat, the Joshi Judas, Io Shirai. Fuck, that's a great nickname.
Who did she betray?
Everyone. The trust of the... Candace. She betrayed Candace back in the day.
Fuck Candace. Candace kicked two
Hold
people
on.
in the
No,
dick.
we can't talk about that. We'll talk about it in a few minutes when we get into our heels and the faces of the week. Boys, what's our heels?
Mine is, again, here, we'll continue my sour grapes, of WrestleMania. Like, it was just disappointing. Like, and you're like, be like, you didn't even watch all of it. Yes, because it was 2 days, 12 hours. Correct, Scotty?
Yep.
Scotty's just sitting down. He doesn't want to listen to me anymore. But it was 12 hours. Could you imagine if that was one day, just half a day for WrestleMania? Like,
no, and that was, like, what you think about last year, too, how it was just, I remember wanting to give up. I think I ended up staying up to watch the very end of last year's WrestleMania, and it was so much wrestling, it packed into one day. They stretched it out to twice as much this year. Over 2 days! God, I just thinking about that, like, I don't know why in the moment I didn't think that was as buck wild. I guess it's because I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
hold on. Wait, hold on. It was 3 hours, by the way. It started at 6 and went off at 9. It was a 3-hour show.
Yeah, that's why I asked how long it was, and you said...
Yeah, you said 12. It was 6 hours split between 2 days. I was sitting there drinking that whiskey fake with the cap on as a fun goof for the people watching, and then halfway through I went, wait a minute, was it 12 fucking hours?
I guess that's better, but still...
It helped a lot. As a viewer of both previous WrestleManias and this one, it helped a significantly large amount to how terrible it was.
Yeah, okay, see, that's the thing. So I apologize for not having my numbers right. Again, I show my lack of knowledge because I didn't watch it. I don't watch WWE on principle. I've been pretty open about that.
It was better to watch. It was better with Wrestle Kingdom, but that's because I was excited for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, so I'm biased, but like they've taken the stakes out of WrestleMania a little bit, haven't they?
I will say,
like, this felt like the least, like, sure it was good, but it felt the most underwhelming, and like it was the most underwhelming before the coronavirus happened. Like, you remember, well, like before when we all were in dread that we were gonna have to sit supposedly this last Sunday and like. We had designated Scottye the designated watcher because Blake and I knew we'd be passed out drunk. Like, that was how the card was. And that was only like 3 weeks ago that all this happened. So like...
I mean, I'll be honest. Rona might have made it better. I'm not even... Like, I know that sounds rough, but Rona kind of made it better.
So you need to understand, like... That's not a glowing endorsement of what they did for the stakes of WrestleMania. They had no real build. They still had no build, and it wasn't all Rona's fault. Hell, like you said, if anything, like the fact that they took the crowd out allowed them to do the cinematic wrestling, which saved 2 of the matches. Can you imagine Taker versus AJ in just a regular match? It would have had none of the same thing. It would have been a complete...
I honestly think the plans... Well, hold on. They announced the Boneyard match after Rona. Okay, then yeah, hold on. Rona did that.
Firefly Funhouse was also after.
Ah, fuck. Okay, hold on. You're right there.
Yeah,
You're
cinematic
right
wrestling as you love it would not have happened without this unfortunate...
Without Rona.
Yeah, without this unfortunate thing that has claimed lives. So...
Fuck you. And I will say this. I was, like I said, firmly in y'all's camp of I don't want to watch this first night. After watching first night and knowing like the Firefly Funhouse was going to be just as buck wild as the Boneyard match, it got me excited. That was all it took, was how good the show was versus like a build. I don't think many of them needed a big build, in all honesty. Like, because the matches that had big, really good builds, Edge Orton, ended up kind of shitty. Gargano Ciampa, that I will be talking ad nauseum about in a few minutes, turned out pretty shitty. But the stuff where they were like, hey, let's just throw 2 people together and see what kind of fucking crazy shit they can do, those were great. That was some fun shit.
Yeah, so here let me tell you, so what you just described is what's supposed to happen on Raw, where they just throw things together and then they let people like kill it. WrestleMania is supposed to be a culmination. It's the biggest show of the year. And if your best you can do is like, let's just throw some random things together with no story, and that's the best Mania you've had in years, fucking kill issues. The company. Just fucking gun to the head.
To be fair, John and Bray had a built-in story though, so that one was good.
They built it in. It's remember when it started, it was just, I'm gonna come up creepily behind you and point at this sign.
Well, no, because like once you actually saw the match, it revealed the backstory and why it's so good.
Yeah, but that match wouldn't have happened that way.
Yeah, I could see that.
So it would have just been. It probably would have been the Seth Fiend match.
It sounds like you're mad at hypothetical WrestleMania and not what actually happened at WrestleMania, Dylan.
I'm saying, like my whole thing I started with that was that they've really taken the stakes out of WrestleMania. And then I explained
because it's gone from what you were talking about, which was building up stakes and ending storylines, to instead saying, what's the biggest draw we could put on? So instead of like say Edge and Orton wasn't a big storyline, they would still throw it in because those are 2 names that would draw. Same with Brock, same with Goldberg.
Correct. So that's the problem. Is that they've taken they've taken the story out of the biggest parts of it.
Yeah.
And that's why WrestleMania just feels like a disappointment, because there's no culmination. There's no, for fuck's sake, Impact culminated, it was overshadowed by the shitty reporter, but Impact culminated the fucking Tessa thing over months. There were multiple stories that wrapped up there. The only people that don't care about a story or WWE, because they only care about moments. And guess what?
Yeah.
There has to be something in between the moments to keep people wanting to see the next one.
And I guess that's also why 30 was the last great WrestleMania, was because that was the last time where the main event was a build. It was months of Daniel Bryan being put down, culminating into Daniel Bryan overcoming fucking everything in the main event. That's why that one was such a big deal. Meanwhile, everything else has been... I guess you could argue maybe Seth versus Triple H had a pretty lengthy build to it.
That match, no. Oh,
I mean,
God.
I'm not saying it was a good match. I'm saying they had built it for a very long time. You can't argue they hadn't built that.
Yeah, that was one where they did a build that was, sadly, it was disappointing because of the match, not the build so much to me.
And I will say, now that I understand Dylan's mad at WrestleMania as an entity, and not just this WrestleMania, I'm fine. Because I was a very big fan of this year's.
Well, yeah, I'm letting you know, why I am.
Yeah.
I'm mad at, like I said, I'm mad at the one you had all the time in the world. So, you had time to make the bad things at least passable. And I understand they did that by splitting it over 2 days.
There was also some panic setting in. There was some panic of okay, but we could still do it like this. No, we can't do it like that anymore. Okay, fuck, go to the Performance Center. Let's film some shit really, really quickly. Oh, fuck, we actually have to put this out. Okay, let's just put it out then. I do think there was some panic. And the stuff they wanted to focus on turned out really good. Boneyard match took 8 hours, and it shows. Then there was some stuff that they just tried to throw by the wayside. Apparently, Edge and Orton was last minute. They were last minute told, yeah, this is how we're gonna do it. It's just gonna be a brawl around. And according to Edge, he was like, yeah, we just made it up on the spot. And I'm like, it shows. It shows. And he's like, yeah, when they told me it was 42 minutes. So I was like, wow, I didn't think I could go that long. All right. Hey, Blake, take us away from WrestleMania for a minute.
I don't want to, because, this, you've messaged me this right before, and it became my heel, and it just makes me mad, because, Hulk Hogan should never tweet again.
Yes. And I'll be honest, but before I had picked my actual heel of the week, I had two choices. One was Goldberg, but once I realized that if Goldberg wasn't an asshole, we would have never gotten Firefly Funhouse, I said, all right, I'll give him a pass. He didn't mean to do it, but he gave me something good. And then the other one was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So essentially Hogan, and of course it was an incredibly I have a hard time believing that he's just stupid is the problem.
Yes.
It was a stupid tweet and he didn't realize what he was saying, and just especially the optics of it, because he did come out and once again, I don't want to say I'm insulting his faith or anything.
Yeah.
But
this is not a faith the faith part of this, fine. I'm cool with this, whatever you want to say, Hogan. It's kind of the ending. It is the
did not stick the landing. Did not stick the landing on this.
Also, real quick before you get into this, apparently FMA in chat, our faithful producer, has let us know that WWE taped the Raw after WrestleMania before they filmed WrestleMania.
Yep, nope, that tracks. Oh, fuck me. Alright, so, earlier this week, Hogan made some waves because he compared the COVID-19 pandemic that has killed thousands and has completely disrupted the entire world to a biblical plague. And he has said, he has implied, at least in those tweets, that these people who have died deserved it. Holy shit. What?
I feel like the only thing he really could have done that could have made it a little more transparent is if he said that the black people who died deserved it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about where he was coming from with that.
Did you see where that priest said that Corona was a curse for all the homosexuals and then he got coronavirus 1 week later? It was very choice. It was so good.
There are a lot of news headlines that say that, because guess what? It's just a virus. And guess what? A virus attacks everybody. It doesn't matter how much faith you have. I'm sorry.
Unless you had faith in isolationism.
Yes. Wait. I have a faith in a different kind of isolationism.
Don't matter how many dicks you've sucked, you can get the Rona.
And so he said that it's like, he compared it to a Bible passage that I don't feel like reading, and then he came out later and said, maybe we don't need a vaccine. Maybe we need this time in isolation to explore our faith. And I'm like, you know what?
Is that how he would have said it, Blake? Is that how?
We're not making light of this with the accent.
No, brother. And it's like, once again, you're trying to get somewhere, but you're falling on your face with the landing there, because it's just so, you should stop talking.
If he had taken out the phrase, there doesn't need to be a vaccine, I don't think this would have made news headlines. If he was just like, hey, we need to take advantage of this time to look inside of ourselves and really reevaluate our faith. That's a cool, weird thing Hulk Hogan said, but then...
But then he said we don't need a vaccine, which we do. People are dying, Hulkster.
Yeah.
My dude, you are in the highest risk group, you old leathery man. And it's like, Hulk, just turn the phone off for right now, sit at home, and just wait till it's over.
Yeah.
At this point, you have done a lot, and really, you just got put back into WWE as a name that they say, so don't do it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of people who just recently got put back on WWE television, Bray Wyatt did put CM Punk in the middle of the Firefly Funhouse, and it did make me shit my pants with joy. Because my heel and babyface of the week both revolve around something I've talked about a lot today, and that is cinematic wrestling. And my heel of the week, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree with FMA in chat, because he says that Gargano Ciampa was better than Edge Orton. I don't know if I can evaluate that, because as I said, I was very asleep during Edge Orton, but I was awake for all 1 hour of Ciampa versus Gargano, and it was some bullshit, because, like, here's the thing, they never said the rules of the match. Triple H was just like, you're gonna go in there, and when it's over, it's over. And I'm like, so does that mean, is it like a last man standing? Is it like a pinfall? So I didn't know the stakes and what they were building towards, so it was just like a bunch of two dudes fighting for like an hour. And cinematic wrestling don't work if it's just normal wrestling filmed cool. You gotta do some buck wild shit in there, otherwise it's extremely boring and weird to watch. It's a bunch of grunting. And there was a little bit of good trash talk in there, but the whole match was just like, hey, what if we went outside and climbed on a truck? Okay, and I throw you off the truck? Nah, we're just gonna get off the truck after a while. Okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, if you compare this one, like, compare it to the match where the Hardys went against Decay.
Yeah.
Because those two had some similarities where they did go outside and they did some buck wild bullshit.
Well, it was more buck wild. I was there for that, by the way. The most buck wild part of it was as an Orlando resident watching it, knowing that we were at Universal Studios and being like, how'd they get to fucking Fun Spot? That's 5 miles away from here. How are they here? Why are they in these bushes?
But it's like, that felt cool because there was actual spooky shit in it. There was like,
It was itchweed, baby!
It was itchweed, yeah. There was buck wild bullshit. And I like, it's like you said, Scotty, like, a cinematic wrestling match isn't real wrestling because if it is, it's just wrestling filmed cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really work.
And they had what I would argue to be the perfect ending to this match. I almost forgave them for the hour of my life I had wasted. I almost forgave them for making me miss Cody and Shawn Spears. Because here is the way the match should have ended from fantasybookingscotty.com. Candace comes in, and you can see Candace is very distraught, and she's upset. And she's looking at Johnny and looking at Ciampa like, her life is destroyed in front of her very eyes. One of her best friends, her husband, they've gone through so much, and they're doing this to each other. It's ridiculous. The ring is torn apart, and Candace can tell that Johnny is on his way out. Johnny's definitely about to be beaten, looks at Ciampa and goes, "Are you happy with what you've done? I hate my husband. I hate what you've turned him into. Finish it." And then Ciampa, you could see him being like, "Fuck, that is my best friend. These are both my best friends. And you could see him regret everything that he's done in this build-up. Because at the end of the day, this all started because Johnny is upset because Ciampa has never apologized for his actions. He was like, the NXT universe forgave him even though he never apologized. He never said he's sorry. That is the build-up to this match. And then Candace goes, "You know what? Fine." Turns around. "I'll finish it." Kicks Johnny in the nuts. He falls down, and then you see Ciampa fall down, and Ciampa looks distraught, like, I've done this to my best friend in the entire world. I'm so upset. Grabs Johnny, and he goes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Johnny finally gets what he's wanted, which is Ciampa apologizing for everything he's ever done to him. And then what should have happened is Johnny looks at him in a very Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair way, goes, "End it. End it." And Ciampa is now like, what? Why? He goes, "End it." Because now Johnny is sorry for everything he's done. Ciampa stands up, bounces off the ropes, single running knee to the head, knock Johnny to the ground, pin him, 1, 2, 3. Both of them sit up, DIY style, arms around each other, and they both look very, very, like, sorry for everything they've been. And now Johnny can move on with Candace and his life as a top babyface. Tommaso can move on as a top babyface in his own affair. Perfect ending. Would have been something unlike anything we've ever seen, where a feud ends not with them saying, "I fucking hate you," but the feud ends with them both saying, "I'm sorry we've done this to each other." Unique, fresh, new. In fucking stead, Candace just kicks Tommaso in the balls, and then Johnny pulls out a cup and just holds his dirty ball cup in Tommaso's face, picks him up, fairy tale ending onto the wood, pins him, 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of the show is just Candace and Johnny healing it up. And I know a majority of this is coming from the fact that I fucking hate heel Johnny Gargano, not in a, "oh, he's so bad, I hate him," but in a, he doesn't need to be a heel kind of way. The only good thing to come out of it was the fact that after they left and Johnny and Candace are like stumbling to the car, they do pass by another car and Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux are looking on. That still could have happened with my ending, but WWE said, "Go fuck yourself, we're not doing anything unique, fuck you."
Oh man, that was a good rant there, buddy. Do you feel better?
And oh wait, also there were commercial breaks. So imagine you're watching the end of the biggest feud in NXT history. It's all coming to a head, one final beat, and then just, "We got new pizza, motherfucker!"
Come get the papadilla!
"We took a normal pan pizza and folded it in half. You're gonna eat it? You don't care? You're a pervert. Fuck you." So that's my heel of the week, is Gargano and Ciampa for fucking everything up.
And then on the other side of it, you have like Firefly Funhouse.
Thank you, because hey, screw it. Also, someone did help me. One of our fans helped me realize something, and it's that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are like the AC/DC of NXT. It's gonna be the same song every single fucking time. It's a pretty good song, but it's the same song every single time, and we are gonna get very tired of it. FMA, Pop-Tarts Pretzels! Fuck you! Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I
You
will
should
say,
go on and do your baby face.
Well, I will also say it didn't have commentary over it, which might be the only edge literally it has over Edge and Orton, because Edge and Orton did have like quiet golf commentary throughout the whole thing. It was real awkward. Well,
God.
My babyface of the week, though, goes to just cinematic wrestling as a whole. Because when I look back at, like, the past 5 years of wrestling, the shit I remember the most is that Decay versus Hardy's match. It is the final deletion. It's gonna be the Boneyard match. It's gonna be the Firefly Funhouse match. Because it allows them to take their creativity to a place that's not restricted. Because wrestling is awesome. But it is very restrictive. You can only do a certain amount of things. The majority of the time it's live, so you don't have an option to do much in front of a live audience. But with cinematic wrestling, you can do buck wild shit. Like just film an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger, but with The Undertaker in it, and just put it out there.
So what you like is television.
I enjoy television,
You like,
but
you just with like wrestling undertones. No, I understand. That's basically, at that point, you're not even a wrestling fan. You're a wrestling personality fan.
WWE's great about building up characters, though, and you have to agree at some point, those characters do have to think, we need to take this to the next level. And we've reached the next level as far as a wrestling ring goes. You've gone as far as you can. When they fucking stacked 3 rings on it and David Arquette fucking chokeslam DDP through it or what the fuck ever, we're as far as we can go. So the next logical step is cinematic wrestling, is going insane and doing some buck wild stuff, because then you could do more intelligent things like the Firefly Funhouse match, which was buck wild and weird and kind of dumb and crazy, but when you break it down, it was the smartest thing we've ever seen in professional wrestling, because it was a complete and total dissection of the character of John Cena, a character that we all have emotions towards. No one's ever been like, fuck, John Cena's here. It's always either fuck John Cena or yay, John Cena's here. And it dissected his...
Have you ever felt that second one?
Which one?
Have you ever felt, yay, John Cena's here?
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me on that Rumble return.
The Rumble return.
I meant in the last decade, past 2010.
Yeah. U.S. title, from the U.S. title reign forward. I've been a fan of John Cena from that U.S. title reign ever since. I've never been an anti-John Cena fan.
Nope. Every time it came back, I'm like, just let it go, bro. Let it go.
Oh, no, the minute he had that great match against Sami Zayn in, like, Montreal, and I went, oh, John Cena can fucking go. All right.
See, there's that one overhanging thing, that whole thing. He did the springboard stunner. Every step of that.
Yeah.
And then he did the lightning fist of doom. You remember that?
Yeah. Well, he don't even use that shit anymore. I will say Jay Walker on Twitter, I'm not going to read it all out because we'd be here literally all night, but he broke down the match bit by bit, and it's showing how fucking intelligent it was. It was showing, like, John Cena, if he did do a heel turn, and that's the NWO bit. And then it's showing, like, the entire world rejecting him by showing him the matches against Brock and where Randy won, and then where The Rock won, Roman, CM Punk. It shows all of that, and then you see Cena just snap. And then finally, now The Fiend is there, and The Fiend takes him out. And the best part, and I know John definitely did this on purpose, they play his promo where he says at WrestleMania will end the career of one of the most overhyped, overpublicized people in all of professional wrestling. And he was talking about Bray at the time. They play it as John is about to get the fucking Sister Abigail into the mat. And it's just this beautiful, poignant moment. It was so fucking good, and it made me realize the more I saw it how to do it right and how to do it wrong, because we had 2 matches that did it wrong, Edge Orton, Ciampa Gargano, and then we had 2 that did it right, Undertaker, AJ, John versus Bray. Firstly, you need to have ridiculous fucking stakes going into it. It can't just be like, hey, we're wrestling in a ring. I don't want to see a fucking ring no matter what, unless you're doing a blend like that the Hardys Decay match was. That's the only time it could work, and it needs to be a little bit self-aware of how crazy it is. You can't be like, we're all aware it's wrestling and it's a little bit silly, so you can't go to, like, the Undertaker one bordered on it being a little bit too self-serious, but then there'd be a moment where AJ's like, I'm gonna finally bury the dead man, and then just lights, and then Undertaker's just there out of nowhere, and then Carl and Luke are there, and they pull out druids for no apparent reason. It gets as crazy as it possibly can be, and the audience, we're wrestling fans, we've dealt with crazy shit in the past, and as we watch it, we're like, oh, you're doing the crazy shit. That's good. And the one thing I think I kept coming back to is, if you could do it in a wrestling ring, don't do it cinematically. Edge and Orton did not need the cinematic treatment. Ciampa Gargano did not need the cinematic treatment. But something like a Firefly Funhouse match or something like a Boneyard match definitely benefits from it because it allows you to do crazier things that fit with the characters.
And inherently, a cinematic match, like, befits a certain type of character. Like, the characters that were in those two matches, the good ones, it really fits. Because in all of the cinematic matches that WWE has done before, they've all involved Wyatt, haven't they?
Yeah, I believe so. They've all really involved Wyatt, and it benefits Wyatt. And I will say, only one of them does it need to really work with. Because AJ Styles, if it was AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn, wouldn't have fucking worked. If it was John Cena versus, like, Roman, wouldn't have fucking worked. You need to have one character that is over the top crazy, and then I honestly think it benefits to have have almost like a foil, have a straight man there, an AJ Styles or a John Cena who can be the audience's surrogate there to look and say, oh, this is really fucking crazy. What's going on right now? So we can look at them and go, oh, we understand. There's someone who we can connect to, but we're rooting for the crazy one.
Yeah, I do love the analytical point that you've taken on this, because it really does make sense to have somebody who we can sympathize with and then the crazy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that, like, I really think that cinematic wrestling is going to be a partial evolution of the wrestling business as a whole, because it's a big step. It can be entertaining. It's not wrestling as we know it. And I think that's a big, like, that's going to be the biggest disconnect. But I think that, I don't think we're going to see a pure cinematic wrestling show anytime soon. And I don't think there needs to be one.
No, it needs to be like only a bit of it.
Yeah. It can be, it's a big match thing for certain characters. It's like what an Iron Man match was introduced to do. Like, those were meant to end blood feuds.
Well, not only that, it elevated the type of person that it been, like, someone who could go long, like Brett and Shawn, or, like, even CM Punk. Like, the people who could last long, that's who those matches benefit. But these matches could benefit a whole range of other characters. I think WWE has been afraid to do it in the past because they're like, well, that's just the crowd watching a screen. They won't pop for that. There won't be any big moments in that. My boy, I was in that crowd for Decay versus Hardys. We went fucking insane. We were just screaming at a television, and we were fine with it. We were like, yeah, we're aware this couldn't happen here, so I'm fine with you going backstage and doing your crazy bullshit. And I honestly like that technique. I like the combining of the two worlds, because then you could have your normal wrestling there to kind of build your audience up, get them start them kind of growing a fury. They run backstage, and then everyone looks up at the screen, because now we want to see what happens next. And that's where the buck wild shit starts to happen, like Abyss and Jeff Hardy suddenly being at Animal Kingdom. Just some crazy shit happens. Okay, I'm gonna step off my soapbox here, but I just wanted to prove to everybody I am smart about wrestling sometimes. You guys go have fun.
Okay, do you want to go next, Dylan, or should I?
Oh, I'm allowed to say something?
I think, yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I had things I wanted to input on that, but fuck if y'all left me the space to try and do anything.
I will say this, welcome to how Blake feels every week.
Right, here's the thing. That's more on you than me. Because you do a whole show with them, so y'all's thing should probably be better. Fuck it, no, we've wasted too much time on it. Literally.
I actually would love to hear your input on cinematic matches, though.
Yeah, I do. Like, hold on. I'm looking at the timer now. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay, great. So here's the thing. The Cena match was good because it had the whole, like, John Cena has to relive all of his worst fears, awkward introduction, bodybuilder gimmick not working out, rap career, like, not being taken seriously, and then eventually the looming cloud of never having a heel turn, of never doing that. Demonstrated greatly by having him go full Hulk Hogan, which, that gif alone of him playing the NWO belt, that alone was worth the whole match, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
But when he does that, and when he, like, finally breaks and, like, does that, somebody else had a great thing about The Fiend, in that The Fiend can only defeat people who, like, are fake, who are, like, yeah, that's why he reverts everyone. And, like, John Cena, like, that showed that he hadn't truly embraced, like, anything. He was still living, like, 4 personas deep.
Yeah. Well, somebody else straight up was like, hey, yeah, this is how The Fiend needs to be presented from now on. That monster does not need to be on my television for more than 3 minutes at the time. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, which is why he couldn't beat Goldberg, because Goldberg's just always been Goldberg. Goldberg never tried to be anything other than a superhero.
And also because Goldberg didn't want to lose.
Which is fine. But that worked out. The Undertaker, I only saw bits and pieces of it, and while I was sad that AJ Styles went out like a bitch, I understand that it was a Walker Texas Ranger episode, and that's how those end. But I was disappointed, because while this does benefit The Undertaker, I still stand by my statement of, like, if it wasn't for this style of match, I really did want this to be The Undertaker's last WrestleMania. Because, like, it's over. Like, the whole, like, they did the preview for the 24. It was like, no one truly understands how much pain The Undertaker is. No, I had an idea after WrestleMania 30, which is when I thought he should stop. And while I like, cried at 33, I was happy that he could stop. And that's why I feel insulted every time he comes back, because I realize that they're making me feel like I'm responsible for this old man hurting himself.
Like, if this is all Taker does, and it's like 8 hours, and every moment, like, Taker's like, I'm a little bit tired. Oh, well, go over there, do some DDP yoga, and then come back. I'm fine with that. Fuck it. Do Sting versus Undertaker in a fucking graveyard match. I don't care.
Yeah, that's the one thing everybody was like, holy shit, we can have it now. We can that's next year. You know that's next year. That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Anyway.
That would be my go home for Taker. That would be my end for Taker and for Sting. Both of them, they're out after that.
Yeah. You get original, do you do original Taker versus Surfer Sting?
I mean, no, because that's not what people want. Although
No, I want to see Undertaker in his original getup. I want that to be what he ends. Like, Percy Pringle in an interview was like, that's how he should go out. He should go out in like a similar uniform to what he came in on. Like we talked about it. Like, that'd be a good fitting ending, because he's reverted gimmicks.
Yeah, although time travel, like Undertaker and Sting in a time travel match, yeah.
No, because then, hold on. That one I like even more, because now The Fiend can get involved, and it's like Bray is the puppet master, and it could be a commentary on the fans wanting wrestlers to come back even after they're too old and broken down, and the match could just consist of them slowly getting more broken, and then The Fiend comes out and takes them both down. That's how you build. I'm fucking out. That's it. I just built The Fiend in one match. Fuck you guys. Baby faces of the week. You guys go.
Sorry, Scotty's off screen sucking his own dick.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so. How does that even work?
It doesn't. He'd have to bend himself in half. He's compensating. So hold on. What was your?
Scotty's got to cue me up if we want to do mine.
Okay. All right. Fine. So Chris Jericho did commentary. It was very good. Chris Jericho got over Sugar Dunkington by calling him Pineapple Pete. He has a T-shirt as of today called it just says Pineapple Pete, and it's Sugar Dunking, like it's like Pineapple Sugar Dunkington's headband on it. Is that Pineapple Pete? I hate that guy. Get him out of here. Like Like they built everything. He had so many good liners that I lost in that fucking like 5-minute rant that Scottye had.
Oh,
my favorite one was when he said, "I'll pull out a fork and cut a bitch."
Yeah, because they were talking about, I can't remember who they were talking about, but they were talking about like the referee checking the legs for weaponry, and Shivani's like, why would they do that? And Jericho's like, when I come out to the ring, I've got weapons all over me. I got knives, I got brass knuckles, I got them everywhere you could put them. I got a fork. And then Shivani's like, oh, Abdullah the Butcher, he's like, I'll cut a bitch with a fork. I don't care.
No, he was like, no, it wasn't even Abdullah. It was like, you have a fork? like, why? But,
that was another one of those commentary breaks moments.
Yeah, I don't know. The bit where Tony Schiavone said, I believe that's called the hentai slide. That one's going to stick with me for forever.
Yeah.
That was great. Just everything that Jericho said. Like I said, I don't have him queued up, but every bit I heard like on that day, it was like, Chris Jericho commentary was like, yes, please. Yeah. So Jericho doing commentary, Jericho proving that he's great at getting people over, like regardless. Like he's getting
he got Pineapple Pete over.
Yeah, and it just goes to show once again he's just one of the best in the business right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Well, Blake, I feel so bad because I took up the majority of this segment, didn't I? Because I went on like a 12-minute rant, and then it cuts to Dylan. And he's like, Jericho was good on commentary, anyways. Blake,
mine might even be shorter, so let's do it.
Okay,
y'all, it's finally come. The day has passed. Play that music. Say yeah. Oh, the Revival have been released from their utter torment. The Revival can finally be whole again as they go out into the world, and everybody in AEW wants the Revival. Fuck me. Their odyssey through being on the main roster has been something that has just been heartbreaking to see. And for them to finally... It is like them finally being cut down from the cross, really.
And apparently they don't have a no-compete clause in their contract, so they can show up in like 2 weeks. Like, I know probably AEW, because that's the dream, so we could have them against the Bucks. NWA would be good, though. Have them form a stable. I think Ghazi sent this idea earlier, which was them... forming. Hold on, I see him. I'm reaching the end of my thought. Him, Spears, Arn, Tully, all together forming like a new pseudo horseman. That would be very great. Dylan, do you have a question?
You did see their new names, right?
Oh, have they changed already?
Yes, they have. What are they?
Because I did see they have a new Pro Wrestling Tees shirt, and it's FTR, but is it Free the Revival? It's something
Their new usernames on Twitter are Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler.
I know it's not gonna be that, but I want it to be that so bad.
It is that. That is how they're going to show up. So, yeah, say no.
No, I love that more than anything in the world, because that is like the greatest parody of when a WWE gets released and has to get a dumb name like Kaz XL or some bullshit like that. That's all they're doing because they're fucking smart, and I love them. Can't wait for the fucking reverters or whatever to show up in AEW, baby.
Probably the mechanics. They'll probably go back to the mechanics.
Yeah, well, do they have that still? Does WWE still have that?
I don't think they ever filed for it.
Okay.
But really my big thing is, like, just seeing them have what they've wanted for a long time. It's the same thing for when Brody Lee was released. Like, he finally, like, okay, Luke Harper's gotten that long-awaited release. He's got to wait for his no-compete, but he's, like, after just fumbling around for so long with nothing, like, they're another case of that. They were never really given much. When they were...
Connor and Victor of the Ascension, when they were finally released and got to go do everything they've ever wanted to do on the indies.
I am happy. I kind of want them... If all things were equal, and if, we weren't in the timeline we were in, I would love to see them show up for, like, a brief run in, like, New Japan or something. Just get, like, just have a chance to, like, cut their teeth.
I know I like jokingly am his boy constantly. Connor in New Japan would be fucking big. He could be really, really big, I think. If he put in the work, put in the effort, he could probably kill it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do realize that he's the least talented of the two of them, right?
Oh, no, I've booked him like that. Like, when I have to book him, I've always consciously booked Connor worse than Victor.
Yep. But, like, anyway, back to the Revival. I'm just happy to see them finally getting back out. I know it's gonna be a rough time. Hopefully they will get, I'd really love to see them in AEW too. But NWA would be good. Although I think some of the smaller, like your NWAs, they're probably not looking to get any new contracts right now.
Yeah.
But Tony Khan's got fuck money, so...
Tony Khan's got all the fuck money in the world.
Tony Khan has an undisclosed location where he's filming pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And so, I want to see more from the Revival, and I'm happy for them.
You're gonna get it. We're finally gonna get it. We're gonna get the Bucks versus the Revival. It's happening. It's gonna be wonderful. Gonna get the Revival versus, like, the Best Friends.
Ah, shit, we do have to wait a month, though, because they've already got it all filmed. So, well, if they do find a way to do Double or Nothing, though, no better place for a debut for the Revival than there.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, you get all those great matches. You might get them versus, like, you know, Kenny and Adam. That's going to be, like, you remember, like, 3-4 years ago when Ring of Honor had the best tag team division on Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, where that was their fucking bread and butter, was they just had all of it. I think the Young Bucks were like, yeah, this is how it should always be. And then that's what they started there. And I gotta admit, they have a point.
I mean,
because tag team matches always have to happen because you got too many people.
Yeah.
And making it to where, like, there are stakes in it and you care.
Because you can do so much with tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, even looking back on Mania, some of my favorite Mania matches were tag team matches, like the TLC matches. Even, like, weird shit like Ronda and Kurt versus H and Stephanie. Good fucking match. Tag team match. The beauty of a tag team match is this. You never have to have a moment in a tag team match, ladder or otherwise, where everyone is down. Or if you do, it's there for a very, very specific reason, and it's to show how much carnage has been caused. But the beauty of a tag team match is, oh, he's already been beaten down so bad, the audience doesn't want to lull, other person comes in. So it's you constantly have a rotation instead of having to have two people constantly keeping their wind.
And yeah, I think, and the Revival's gonna be good.
Boy, I don't know how to dismount anymore because we don't have JWF here anymore. Oh, fuck. What'd you guys learn this week?
Holy shit. I learned that, man, we're just getting through it together, and the best way to do it is just cinematic wrestling.
And I learned that the newest, hottest tag team for AEW are going to be Dawson's Creek and Dax Shepard. Can't wait for the debut of those two boys.
Of the Fix Boys.
I wouldn't doubt they could just call them FTR, and everyone's gonna know.
So, I learned that Scottye potentially, probably, masturbates to cinematic wrestling. And he's got freaking Kurt Angle's wank cloth that he puts on, and just he watches that glove he had for no reason. That was you remember that? You were like, oh, that's somebody's leg. That's a jack off sock, man. What are you doing?
I can't wait for Kairi Sane's babyface turn when she goes back to being a pirate, and then she just has a cinematic match on a boat.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, KO was talking about like what his original plan was
was to find a way to jump off the ship.
He was like, yeah, I went there for like a game back in January, and I spent the entire time staring up at that boat trying to figure out how I could jump off of it.
And he's like, I took pictures.
He's like, there it is. There's my dad down in the corner. All right, where can people find you guys on the internet?
Wherever books are sold.
Okay.
Yes. Amazon booksellers. You can find me at Blake A. Tanner on the Twitter. You can find me at The Dark Room Vidya on YouTube. And every time we do a podcast here, whether it's a load of BS, Fight Boys, Deviant, just whatever the fuck we do.
How is it that we don't have the extra 20 minutes of JWF, and yet this is still the longest episode we've ever done? I'm gonna take the blame entirely, and if you want to tweet your displeasure, you can to me on Twitter at Scottye Moore, SCOTTYEMO, and you could find all my books, apparently where Dylan is, or on Amazon. Just look up Scottye Moore, and you'll find all my stuff, including a book about me and Blake. And you can find all the other podcasts online at a load of purebs.com. Check out Deviant. It's about to have its season finale. We're wrapping everything up, and it's gotten absolutely buck wild. And Blake's in it, so you guys need to check that out. And JWF Monday Night Ignition. If you're missing your JWF fix, it's not gone. It's just moved to a new home. So go subscribe to Monday Night Ignition. I'm the champ now, so you guys better fucking respect me and subscribe to Monday Night Ignition.
Special thanks to Mega Ran for our theme song, Fighters. Y'all can support Mega Ran. He's on his Patreon. Listen to his music. Also, I'll throw it out there. If you guys would prefer Dylan, you just send your support money to Mega Ran, become a patron. Scotty, you match him, y'all just become Mega Ran patrons.
I've been his patron. Wait, can we just buy Mega Ran merch? We just buy some merch from Mega Ran.
And you know what? I'm giving y'all choices because I'm sitting here high on the mountain. I know it's really hard for y'all to hear me from all the way up here on this mound of victory that I built on the broken dreams of everybody in the world.
I mean the choices are donate to numerous people who need unemployment right now, or a good rapper in Arizona. And it's honestly kind of a tough pick. And if you guys want to support us, you can by donating to the Patreon or picking up some merch at merch.loadofpurebs.com. We got some really cool stuff up there, including shirts if you like JWF for all your favorite JWF wrestlers. So check those out and make sure to tell a friend to check out the Fight Boys. And as always, you can find us at aloadofpurebs.com. Step up to the merch table at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. Find us on Facebook, donate to the Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, and remember to follow us on Twitter at Fight Boys Show EO Shirai, because when you're a fight boy, you're a fight boy for life.